athlete will put their actual height, so I gotta do intimidation factor. Yeah, so coach wanted me to come in just to talk to you guys about how your season's going. He's kept me updated while I was over in Iceland. I was playing, as you can see, well, we'll see, I was playing professional soccer over there. I just graduated from Southern New Hampshire University, which is a college up in New Hampshire, in 2021. And during my last year of playing, it was actually, I was going for my master's because of COVID. And I was deciding whether I should either not go back to school to get my master's and play my last year, or I should just get a job. But ultimately I decided to go back and play my last year of college, which was the right choice.
You had 4 years of eligibility in college?
Yeah.
So one year you didn't play, or?
When COVID hit, we didn't have a season. So
so you were able to make up by
Yeah.
going for your master's and using your 4th year of eligibility.
Yep.
It's enough.
Yeah, so I had 1 year of eligibility left, so I decided to use it, and I was happy with that choice because it ultimately got me to Iceland playing pro soccer. But I wanted to come here just to talk about, not so much about my pro career, more about how I got there. I feel like that's more beneficial for you guys because you guys are in high school or a little younger, and I don't know, are you guys thinking about going to college? Like what are some of your plans? Anybody can start talking.
I'm going to college. That's
Where
what I know.
are you going? Do you know?
I want to go to Johnson & Wales.
Yeah, okay. For what?
Criminal psychology.
That's fun. Anyone else? You don't have to know, it's okay.
I don't know what college yet, but I
Yeah.
want to be a physical therapist.
Physical therapist? I like that. Anyone else?
We're the other seniors.
Yep.
I want to be a vet.
Vet? It's cool. Yeah, what about you?
Even good to be nice and be a cardiologist.
You guys are smart.
I just want to play college ball.
Yeah?
No clue what I want to do after that.
That's okay too. So when I was in high school from 2014 to 2017. That just feels like a long time ago. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I mean, teaching runs in my family, so I kind of went that route. And SNU was actually brought to me by my mom. She went there when it was New Hampshire College back in the 80s, and she just really wanted me to just look at it. And so I went to, they have ID clinics, which is basically anyone can sign up, and the coaches are there and they see you play. It's like basically a 2-hour practice or a camp. They do half days, full days, or just a couple hour sessions. And I was there and I really liked it, and the coach liked me, and then the next summer I went back and I talked to him and I committed. So it just kind of felt like the right fit for me. But that was my experience. I feel like what's important for you guys is to figure out, kind of narrow down like the location you want to go, and then decide, okay, what I want to do in that college, because I think that's super important, because it's important to go to play, but it's also important to get your degree. So just in case soccer doesn't, because soccer obviously will eventually end. We can't play it forever, even though I wish we could play it forever. But you have to fall back on something just as equally as passionate. Because I'm sure you guys are passionate about soccer, but you also need to be passionate about something else. So I feel like it's important for you guys to start thinking about like what you like, where do you want to study. It's just an announcement.
Aurora D'Souza, if you're in the building, please go to the lower side reception area, the lower side office. Aurora D'Souza, please go to the lower side office. Your parent is here. Thank you.
So I think it's important just to get a list going, especially the juniors and especially the seniors, on just some criteria like location, size of the school, what sports they have at the school, because all that plays a factor. But also, if you have the chance to go and visit the school, you should really do that, because once you step onto the campus, then you'll have that sense of like, okay, this feels like a second home, or I could make a home here. That's what's most important, is the feel when you get onto the campus. And that's what I kind of felt when I stepped onto this new campus, was I was like, I feel comfortable here, I feel like I can succeed here, and that's what ended up happening, so. But I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, or anything you want to ask me.
Where'd you start playing?
When did I start playing? When I was 4. I was playing in the Warren rec leagues. And then ultimately I started on the Seekonk rec, and then I played for their town club team, and then I went to, it's not a club team anymore, it's called Blackwatch. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It used to be a team outside of Wheeler in Providence, and they used to play in Seekonk. So that was my club team for a while, and then they merged with NEFC. You guys know that club? Yeah, it's a big club. And then my last year of high school, I went to Bayside FC. I don't know if you guys know that. It's out of East Providence. Yeah, that's a good club.
That's where I play.
Do you play on it?
Yeah.
Who's your coach?
Jamal Santos.
Yeah. I had Dave DeMello, so gotta love those guys. But yeah, so I started when I was super, super young. Anyone else have any questions?
How about talking about what it means to be a team? About your relationship with the other players, and sometimes good, sometimes bad, ups and downs?
Yeah. So I feel like that's the tricky part about being a team, is that you're kind of thrown into this group of girls. Like, I didn't really have a choice with my teammates were in college. You just be like, all right, these are the girls you're with for the next 4 years. You gotta figure it out. And let's be honest, you don't have to be best friends. We're not all best friends. I mean, I only talked to maybe a handful of girls on my college team, because, I mean, that's life. You're not friends with everyone. But I think the most important thing is if you have the same mentality when it comes to winning, I think that'll create a better environment, right? It's all about a safe but like competitive environment when you're playing. Like, yeah, winning is very important, but if you can't get along and if you can't solve problems with each other on the field, then you're not going to have a successful season. And for me, when I'm on the field, you can't really see it from the film, but I'm a hothead. I have a temper, and I snap. And if anyone can relate, okay?
Football player.
What position do you play?
I'm a striker.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, how many goals last night?
2? Okay.
She's the one with the 2-hand push.
Nuh-uh.
No, she's the receiver with the two-hand push.
Yeah, I receive a two-hand push, and then they start pushing me, and then I tell them to stop pushing me, and they don't stop, and then they just fall, and it's not my fault.
How do they fall?
So
Just
did the
magically
goalie
just
they just fall.
Julia, so did that goalie just fall, or?
We don't talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay?
but the
That
one
one wasn't on
she
purpose.
took out the goalie.
That one wasn't on purpose. She grabbed my arm, and then I was sprinting. She dived in front of me. She fell. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the win.
Well, for anyone besides you and me who have a temper, you can say it's hard to control it on the field. Because for me, off the field, I'm a quiet, I come off as very shy. But on the field, my friends will say it, Al, we love you off the field, we hate you on the field. I'm like 2 different personalities on the field. But
That's good.
Right here.
okay. But it took me a while. It took me a long time. I'm still working on it. I'm controlling my temper and controlling my reaction to situations. Because growing up, I used to have outbursts, and my coaches used to pull me. And I had this one instance where it was during the Mother's Day tournament. I still remember it. I was 12 or 13. I was really young. Mother's Day tournament. A girl passed the ball. I was super angry already. I put my whole body into her. I knock her, and it's right in front of my mom. And she looks at me, and she gives me the dirtiest look, and I'm like, uh-oh, I was in trouble. So that next night, I got a stern talking to from both of my parents. And that's when you know you're really in trouble. It's when you get talking to by both your parents. And from that point on, I realized that in order for me to be a better teammate, I had to control my emotions on the field. And emotions are a good thing. That's part of the game. But it's how you control them is the hard part. And I completely understand how hard it is to control your emotions. I'll tell you a story. In college, my junior year, we were having a great season, and there was the striker she was from Norway or whatever, didn't really matter, but I didn't get along with her because she wasn't my ideal striker that I wanted to play with. She wasn't listening to what the coach had told her to do, and I'm one, like, if he tells me to do something, I'll do it right away. Like, I'll just do it. And she wasn't listening to him, and he wasn't pulling her off the field. So one game, the last game of the regular season, I flipped out. She wasn't doing what he told her, and I was directing it towards him. I said, in PG mode, I said, she's sitting, take her off the field. And his mouth, like, dropped open. And so I got benched for our first playoff game that year, and we lost that game. And I still blame myself to this day if I started the other one. So that really told me, because I was going to my senior season and he needed me to be a captain, a leader on the team, and I wasn't being it for my team. And that whole COVID year when we didn't play, I worked on my attitude, I worked on talking to other teammates. I learned a lot about what I had to do to control myself. I mean, I started going to therapy, I talked to someone, I had a mental coach, I journaled every night. I just played scenarios out in my head on what I would do if it happened, because everyone has the right to choose what you do in a game, and I chose the wrong thing to do, so I made it my goal for that next season, whenever it happened, that I was going to make the right decision whenever a situation like that again occurred, because I didn't want to let my teammates down. And so you always have to be aware of how your actions and your words specifically affect your teammates. And if you can do that, then you guys will be completely okay. Like, no matter what happens during a game, you guys will be able to solve it by communicating. If you have that trust and you have that control over what you say and how you say it. And I'm still working on that. I'm not perfect. I still freak out, but it's more of a controlled freak out, if that makes any sense. So.
How about physicalities in the game, and how does it differ from high school level to college level to what you had in fall summer?
So high school, I mean, I'm small, so I always expected it to be very physical, so I kind of acted bigger than I was. Like, everyone says, oh, Allie, you're so small, but when you go out there, like, I'm hitting these girls that are 5'8", and their thighs is as big as my waist. Like, these girls are huge in Iceland. So I'm not, the intimidation for me, it was never an issue. And I feel like for any of you guys who are on the smaller side, you kind of have to act like you're bigger. It's like an acting game almost. Like, you just have to act that you're 5'8", just muscular, strong, and can bully anyone off the ball. You really have to. But that helped me throughout high school, but that really helped me in college, because obviously college, you have girls from everywhere, from not just the States, but internationally too, who are built differently and who are very physical. Freshman year, first preseason practice, we had this like little game where you had to shield the ball from your partner, and one of the seniors goes, Al, come here. Most physical senior grabs me. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. So she was shielding me. She ended up ripping my shirt, and I was just like, okay. But I like that. Like, I didn't mind that. So I was like, all right, that's how physical I have to be. That's how physical I have to be. So it kind of prepared me for what college was going to be like. But so yeah, but college definitely. D2, it's technical, but it's also kind of physical. Iceland is very, very physical. It's a different type of physicality. Like, it's kind of like playing American football or boxing.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I got thrown around like a hockey puck, so that was really fun.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just have to I think going into any season, any different level of soccer, you have to mentally prepare yourself. Like, when I started college, I was like, okay, I have to be on top of my game. I have to be ready to get hit. I can't be afraid to get hit. Like, I just have to go through every tackle. Like, I don't care. And that's what I did. But you have to have that mental capacity.
Now, how did you adjust like your schedule for playing D2 soccer? Like was it overwhelming, like mentally, like for you to go from playing like club like 2 to 3 days a week to
Yeah, so off every single day.
like how did you mentally stay like on top of it?
So for me personally, I like to have a lot of stuff going on. I feel like I focus better when I have a lot of things that I have to get done. So I went to SNU for teaching, for math. So I had a lot of homework, because I had a lot of math classes. But I think if I didn't play soccer, I would be lazier to get stuff done, because if you do fall behind, it's really tough to kind of get into the swing of things. But all colleges now have a really good, at SNU we call it learning centers, so they have tutors. So if you need help, like there's students, and they have professional tutors, they have student tutors, and they will help you with anything you need. So like that's the beauty of kind of like playing a sport and then being like, okay, I need help, like it's free. So you just go into the library and you be like, okay, I need a calculus tutor, I need a stats tutor, I need a bio tutor. Like they have all the resources there for you not to get behind on work. But college is very independent, so it's on you. Like the professors don't care how you get it done. If you get it done, they're fine with it. But I think mentally, again, you just have to prepare yourself, being like, okay, I'm going to have multiple assignments along with practice. You just have to, it's a grind. It's basically a grind. That's the best way I can explain it. But it's fun though. If you really enjoy the sport, you'll enjoy whatever else comes. Like soccer for me, growing up and now, was an escape. Like I had not a tough childhood, but like my mom was sick throughout my whole childhood. In high school, she passed away, so it was really tough in high school. So having soccer, like, it saved me from going down a bad path. Let's just put it that way. So I want, like, talking to you guys, I want you guys to realize how lucky you are that you do have a sport that you love, and that it does provide you an escape from anything that's going on in your life. Like, for the next 2 hours, you can just focus on kicking a ball. That's it. Like, that's what I think about. Just kicking a ball with 25 of my best friends. And that's what it is. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, if you really love it, you don't care what else you have to do. You get to play that sport for 2 hours every single day of your life. So, but if you like a different sport, that's fine too. Whatever, find your passion in life. Like my mom always told me, find your passion and then go for it. Don't try to please anyone. You focus on yourself, and then you'll be happy, and then you can start pleasing everyone else. So you guys have to focus on what you want in your life. So.
You played a central midfield
Yep.
role at Bolsonger,
Yep.
an attacking midfielder, right?
Yep.
Into the box.
Yep.
And you scored how many goals and assists?
I scored 10 and I assisted 10.
And how many games were there?
15? There wasn't a lot.
15 games, 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about scoring.
Scoring? Oh, I love scoring. And who's the attacking people here?
Attacking
score?
people, hands up.
Wingers, forwards,
Lima,
central
attacking
midfield,
central mid.
central mid. Yeah. How do you like scoring?
This is great. I just don't do that very often.
I just don't do it very often.
Yeah, she only does 35 yards plus. That's the way she scores.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, scoring for me, like, I don't know, when you guys score, do you get like an adrenaline rush after? Like, yeah, you get an adrenaline.
It's a
Yeah.
form of like willpower in a way.
It is relief. It's a big sigh of relief. So I like, when I score, I don't remember anything that happened. Like if you ask me, oh, how did I score? Like when I watch it back, I'm like, oh, that's how that happened. Like I black out. I don't remember it because I'm not thinking at that time, and I think that's the best when that happens. When you don't think, you're playing your best. It's when you think that I don't play at my best.
What have I been telling you, girls?
You don't
Play with your heart.
You play with your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when people ask me, oh, what about this goal? I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. But it feels, I don't know, scoring is, sometimes I like assisting better than scoring. I don't know, for the central midfielders, I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's just me. Like I like creating the goal because I feel like I played a major part. Like yeah, finishing, scoring obviously is very important, but like making that one pass that you know is a potential goal scoring opportunity, I don't know, that's just like, the feeling is just more, not of a relief, but like an excitement. Like scoring is a relief because you're like, oh, I didn't just shank it right, or I didn't like just shank it up. Like you made that pass and it was a good pass, good idea, good pace. Like it's just like a different type of feeling. But yeah, everyone loves scoring. Doesn't matter who you are. I hope you like scoring. If you don't scoring, then I would say pick a different sport.
Me too.
But yeah, I don't know. I think if I were to have a meeting with myself at your guys' age, I would say don't stress on the future as much as you should. Like let whatever happens, happens, but everything's happening for a reason. Like it'll happen for the right reason. Like yeah, Iceland was tough for me and like I loved it, but I also hated it. Like being away from family. It was just different, but like it happened for a reason and I learned from that. And I think learning from every decision or experience you guys go through is the most important thing. Whether it's the right or wrong decision. But it's learning, it's always being aware of what you can learn from anything. And I feel like that's what I started to learn when I got older, especially in college, like the last couple of years, is like you have to learn from everything. Like you're never done learning. Even if you're out of school, I'm still learning now. I think I'm learning more now than I was when I was in school because I have so many different choices to make for myself. And I don't like that. I like having one choice and just straightforward. That's what I'm learning now. I have to learn to make a choice with very different options. But that's life.
You got an award just before you left from United Soccer Coaches, I think, and went out to Kansas City.
Yeah, All-American.
Talk about that a little bit. Allyson was All-American.
Yeah, that was probably the best thing I've ever done. So you don't play, okay, for me, this might sound like I'm lying, but I don't play to get awards. I just play because I love the sport. You can think that's a lie, but it's not a lie, I swear. I'm not lying. So going into college, like I never thought that I could possibly win this award. I didn't even know the award existed, to be honest. I was just playing because I wanted to win championships with my team, and that was it. And my last year of playing, so my fifth year basically, we went in, we had a good season. We won our regular season for the first time in program history, so that was really fun. I got Player of the Year for our conference, and that right there, that was enough. Like when my coach told me at the end of practice one day that he got Coach of the Year, our defensive player got Defensive Player of the Year, and then I got Player of the Year, I was just like, I looked at him, I go, Ellie, you're lying. He goes, no, I'm not lying. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was just like ecstatic. Like I was extra happy. Like awards, they mean a lot to me, but they don't at the same time. But like that award kind of summed up what I worked for the 4 years that I was at Smith Lake. Even though I didn't think I could get there, I did, and that was like the best feeling. And then I would say after the season, that's when all those big awards, like the region and the national, like all those big awards came out, and my coach texted the team and said congrats to all the regionals, and then he said congrats, Allie Patterson, you got first team All-American. And I was like, what? And the first thing I did, I picked up my phone and I called my aunt. I go, Julie, look at the website. I just got All-American. She goes, what? I go, I'm not kidding. I'm like, look at, I got All-American. We were freaking out. I called my dad. I called my uncle. We're all freaking out, and it was just like I still don't believe it. Like when I look at the award, I'm like I don't think I'm, out of all of America, I don't think I'm the best. Like I think I'm not even close. But apparently they thought wrong. So, but I don't know. For me, I'm always my mentality is I can always be better. So no matter what award I get, I'm like, well, I can still work on my quickness. I can still work on my shooting. I can still work on my passing. Like I'm never done growing. I'm never done getting better. And I feel like in some ways that's good, and then some ways it's bad. Like sometimes I can't just be like, wow, I can't appreciate what I did for myself. Like I can't just sit back and be like, wow, I'm not good yet. Like yeah, I got All-American. Out of all the D2 schools in America, I was the one out of Seekonk, Mass, a tiny town in Massachusetts. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Me and my dad flew out for the award ceremony, so that was fun. He cried.
Yeah, I
like,
couldn't believe it when you texted me.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
never
yeah.
believe where I am.
I know. Yeah, he cried like a baby, so that was fun. But yeah, that was kind of the cherry on top for my college career. Ending it, I never thought that would end the way it did. Even though we didn't end up winning our conference championship, we lost. We lost in the first round. We should have won because I got nailed in the box. But the ref was stupid, but it's fine. You can't go back and change anything. But I think, you know, if someone would have told me that's the way your career is going to end in college, I would have never believed them. But, I mean, I feel like for me, that, I mean, you earn, what's the saying? You get what you deserve, or you earn what
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you work hard, if you work through all that, I mean, my second year of college was not, let's just say it was the complete polar opposite of my last year of college. It was my slump year. I was doing bad. I was still young. I thought I was better than I was, and I got a good reality check. And then the next 2 years, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to work my butt off, and I mean, you guys just have to work hard. It'll eventually come. No matter if you don't see it coming, it will come. I mean, I didn't see getting an All-American award would come, and look what happened. So, but, yeah, I think that was a better feeling than scoring. Just saying.
You've now had a chance to look at the entire global scene, even though it's only Iceland, which isn't that far away, but you have been able to look out. What do you think about the outlook for the women's sport right now? There's some bad press at the moment.
Yeah.
And I have my own feelings about that.
Yeah.
But overall, how do you feel about the women's sport and the outlook for it?
So, I have mixed emotions. So, I feel like the women's side is not where it should be compared to everything else happening in society right now, at least from a woman's standpoint. I feel like the resources surrounding teams needs to be better, the board needs to be better around teams, like the support for women needs to be better. I don't know, do you guys follow the NWSL at all? Kind of. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's just not, I feel like they're suppressing them, and they're taking their voice away from, like, say, I don't know, there's a lot of abuse going on in the NWSL right now, and they're like kind of playing it off like nothing happened, and now they're just releasing bits and pieces just so they don't get the men in trouble that actually do the abusing, and I don't really like that at all.
Yeah, when I was in university, I remember having a talk with a management teacher one time. No, I'm sorry, I was a psychology teacher. And I was saying something similar to that. And the teacher said to me, the professor said, You're either part of the problem and buy into the problem, or you're part of the solution. Which do you want to be? And of course the answer is you want to be the solution, you don't want to be the problem for that. And then came, okay, you want to be part of the solution? Take an active role and be part of the solution. Now on the women's side, it's moving slowly forward. This was a bit of a setback. It was an unexpected setback, but I'm a little bit, I think it's a little bit of the Me Too type of thing that's flown, that's sort of flowed over into our sport. So it's a setback, but overall, there is such an outlook for the women's side. In the different countries now, the senior women's leagues are being professionalized more. So it used to be that a lot of them were amateur. And I think what we're going to see is now I was never really involved in the women's side until we started. With the agent scout work on it. And then now I'm seeing more and more that the potential is there. Back in 2010, when I did the first women's team in Singapore, the young team, what I said was, this is the future. And there is a whole group out there of players that want to play. And they're not getting the opportunities to play. Now you're getting the opportunities to play. Okay, so we're 10 years into it, but we're still not there. And there's still a lot to go forward. Now, what I'm teaching you, like the training session that I just put up there, a few years ago, the coaches would have said, this is not for women. Women don't do this. They don't play like this. You guys are learning, I'm teaching you just as I've trained senior men's teams. And what I'm learning is that your learning at your level is a little bit different from the 23, 25-year-olds and the way they learn. But now we're getting over that, right? And when you go out there to play, I hear from so many of the parents. And the parents are not Native American, or not Native American, but long-time American. They're people who have come here from Portugal and Brazil and other countries. And they say, this team, I don't know if they say it to you, but they say to me, this team is actually playing beautiful football. We've never seen football like this before. So, what I'm saying is that we get over some of these things. I mean, there was the problem with the compensation.
Yeah.
That's actually a commercial problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and the commercial problem, it gets back to all that background on what you just said, the as my wife says, the old white men who run this, right? And they don't want to. Well, guess what? Those guys love money. And when the money starts flowing, they're going to love the sport more and more. And the money's beginning to flow, and they're beginning to love the sport more and more. It's going to be a few more years. Now, unfortunately, you know, at your age, maybe your time's going to run out because you only got 6, 7, 8 more years maybe to play this game. But 6, 7, 8 more years, many of you are going to be in your prime. And this sport is going to go forward. Now, the NWSL has gone bankrupt a couple of times, like 2 or 3 times before. And there's no saying that with a problem like this, maybe it will have a bit of a difficulty, but I think it's going to go forward. And then the opportunities are going to open up as they've opened up in USL, which you're talking to me about, which I still cannot find any information on it. The USL is ramping up. But the future, for those of you who want to play soccer, who want to play football, who want to play calcio, who want to play football, the future is yours. And I would say that the women's future is as bright as, and maybe brighter than the men's future, because the men's future, I mean, Allyson can't talk about the men's future, but I can. It is rife with politics, it is rife with corruption, it is rife with nepotism, it is old boys network who gets in. It's really bad. I have players who have played for teams that were in the Champions League, maybe the year before they were in the Champions League, and I can't get them into other clubs because of all of this problem. And for you, it should be a clean slate. And I think that's going to be what's going to be good coming out of this problem now, because it's going to wipe out some of that old boy network type of thing, because the old boys are still working their magic behind the scenes. But as you go up, your next step, some of you, university, okay? Now, not all of you will play ball in university. Some of you may play ball in university, but there's a certain fallout. My job here as your coach is that everybody's going to play ball in university because you're going to love it so much. But then when you get to university, you get a fallout. You get a fallout. There are players who will play for 1 year. My son, 2 sons, the same thing. They went, they fell out. Not everybody goes through, but you get through to the other end, and then you become like Allyson, and you say, I really love this game, and I want to stay playing it. Nobody says, I really love the politics, or I really love the money at this level, but I really love the game. I want to stay playing, and you know what you've had to go through to stay in the game. If you want to stay in the game, it's like anything in life. If you fight for it, you can get it. And that's the message from me. If you fight for something, you can get it. When we last looked, as of Friday last week, before we had the 2 more wins, we had clawed our way up from nothing, 0. We weren't even in Division 5 when we started this. And now we're in, at that point, before the last 2 wins, we were in 54th position. And I'll mention it now. It doesn't put any pressure on you. It doesn't put any pressure on me. But 1 more win, and you're in the state playoffs.
Oh my God.
No pressure.
Oh God.
No pressure. I mean, no pressure. That's why I want to play South Shore Christian Academy again, South Shore Christian Academy again tomorrow to get this behind us. Then once we're in the playoffs, then the only difference is the more we win, the more our rating goes up, and we get seeded better. And when we get seeded better, we get weaker opponents in the first round. We are there. You are there.
It's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, but don't you worry about it, because the one thing that we do, and I do, and you will do, is we go 1 game at a time. Even if there are standings, you go 1 game at a time. The next game is your most important game. Whatever happens in that game, your next game after that is your most important game. But the 2 games out is not your most important game now. You don't worry about it. People talk to me, what's going to happen when you go up against Bishop County? We had the talk yesterday that their primary striker is out. Yeah, the primary striker is out, but they're further down in our schedule. I'm not worried about them. My next target is win the next game. Not to get into the playoffs. Win the next game. You win the next game, then we go to the next game. We go to the game on Friday. The target is experience, is not winning. Because a lot of the players, there are a few junior players who will be seniors next year, but there are a lot of players who are 7th and 8th grade players. And they've got another 4 years to go here. So I take a look at that. When we play Tri-County, that's for experience. I don't care win or lose. I want everybody to get experience. And then we go to the Bishop Conley game after that. So we go 1 game at a time. Good idea? Your coaches all do like that?
Yep, that's what my college coach did.
Yeah, well, Ellie's a special guy.
Yep.
Okay, so you got to have more questions. You got to have more questions. You don't, Zoe, you got to have more questions. Like, why does the coach always call me by the wrong name? You don't care.
Do what you do. I don't question it.
Yeah. Good.
Well, my question is, what's your actual name? Is it Zoe? Is Zoe okay?
Zoe.
She calls her Sonia.
No, I know. I call her not Sonia.
Not so
I'm close.
Or Jaden.
Oh, he calls me
Jaden.
Jaden.
This is
What's
Jaden.
your actual name?
Jada.
Close.
No, it's not. He does it on purpose. He does it on purpose.
Gabby.
Yeah.
Gabby. Was it Gabby? Gabby?
Sorry, I had to give a little European slang. So
I'm awful at names. I hated saying names. In high school, I had to like list all of our names. I'm like, nope. I'm like, I can't spell. Don't ask me to pronounce your name. I will butcher it.
do we have a drill for you?
No. No.
Put everybody in, put Allyson in the middle of the circle, and she has to call the name to get the ball.
We literally have 3 Sophias. 3 Sophias.
Yeah, now we have 3.
And like 3
Two
Isabellas.
Bellas.
Bellas.
Yeah, and we had a Bella that dropped out, thank God. Isabella McMahon.
Oh, Isabella McMahon.
Yeah.
I saw her in the hall the other day.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
still-
I think she's decided Fall River United or Fall
I
River
just don't think she cares
YSN.
enough.
Coach, she's a troublemaker.
She's a troublemaker.
Okay.
Oh, is she a troublemaker?
Yeah, she's not a good student.
We're better off without her coach.
Okay,
Let's
so-
put it like that.
So you feel like a group now? You feel like a family?
Yeah.
I feel like your family. I got squabbling daughters. It's, you know.
We've played with, some of us have played with each other for so long already.
Who are the seniors? Who are the
Some
seniors?
of us have known each other for like a little too long. Jada.
We're missing one.
Yeah. Who, juniors? Sophomores?
I don't think we have any
We
sophomores. do
have
we?
no
That's
sophomores.
sad.
Weird. Freshmen?
The sophomores went straight to volleyball. I think like all like 3/4 of the sophomore
How
girls
old are
play
the rest of
Keep
you?
going. 8th grade
8th grade.
and 7th grade?
Seventh? Sixth?
No.
No.
No, we don't have anybody.
Oh,
with
okay, okay.
I think they're not allowed to play in 6th grade.
Oh, okay.
She's our youngest player.
What grade?
Sophia.
What
Sophia.
grade are you in? Seventh?
Yeah, but how old are you, Steps?
What?
She's 12.
Playing varsity
Playing
soccer.
bar- and let me tell you.
She's playing center mid, and she got
At 12?
and she got an assist on one of the goals. I think it was your goal. No, Destiny's
Sophia,
goal.
Sophia Lima's playing center mid. Sophia Stebbs was playing outside mid until we put her in our defensive line the last 2 games, playing her best soccer.
Yeah, because the first player has got a concussion.
Yeah, concussed. Crippled.
Yeah, she's the one here with the cross-eyed looking
Wow,
at you.
let's not go there.
I know.
It feels so good not to be the crippled anymore, and then I got passed to Caitlin, and now, hey, that's all you own that.
Don't put that
my
on the
name now.
universe, okay?
I don't want it coming back to me.
Concussions are.
I don't want to.
Worst thing ever.
You're already. I have nothing to say.
Anybody got whiplash in a game once?
No, I got
Bella, I don't need any more injuries.
Bro, you have injuries when I was
Oh my god, the one year ago on Snapchat came through this week.
The Westport game. Yeah, she's from whiplash. Ambulance had to come. Took
Oh my
20
god,
minutes.
in Westport, in the pouring rain, they were like, nah, this game's done, this, that, we ended up winning. We took that dub.
I think whiplash is
But
worse
the
than
thing is
concussion.
that was my
I actually have
year.
never had a
So it
case
was
of whiplash.
3 years ago.
I was a freshman.
3 years ago?
Had everything else. I've actually never even heard of whiplash in a game.
Can I say it?
That must be an American thing.
Oh, you're gonna
Well,
get
it's
Yeah, I've never had it. In all the years I've coached, I've never had a case of whiplash. Okay, Destiny, remember, Destiny is up for Player of the Week with forward to her. And 5 goals in 5 games.
nice to meet you too.
Good luck.
Okay, remember to vote for
I'm
her.
going home.
Okay, any other questions?
I know, it's 4 o'clock. You guys need to go home.
I'm
Yeah.
going to the boys soccer.
Yeah.
They got a boys soccer game out there in the rain, so they.
Boys. No, you guys gotta
It's
stop.
at 5:30.
I love going to the guys.
Oh, good. Did we realize those are the first 2 goals out of my whole high school career?
Really?
High school career. I haven't
We've
scored.
been waiting actually for you to get them, and you got them both in one game.
It took long enough.
Yeah.
Did it?
I haven't seen the Fall River write-up. Did they announce it this morning?
Doesn't count.
Yeah, Mr. H said something.
He
He
said
called
something
me
he
a
didn't
senior
play.
striker.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was confused, but
He mixed up Julia and Destiny, and he heard it.
Sydney got a shot.
He did?
out.
Do any of you play club? So I know you do. What
I took
clubs?
the year off.
Vipers?
Navigators.
Anyone else?
I was playing FC Stars until I had knee surgery, so this is my off season right now.
I play for
What did you play?
3 teams.
3 teams? What are the other 2 teams?
United and this one. And then my
United's Fall River United.
Yeah.
Like the town.
Nice.
That's what
Very
we.
nice.
That's what me and Caitlin grew up playing together. As
Yeah?
far of a town, yeah. And then.
I gotta say, my best friend and my club team was the worst person to play against in high school. She played for our rival school at DR.
It's
It's the
funny.
worst.
It's funny
I
that you
hate
say that because like the girls that me and Caitlin grew up with playing with
Mhm.
go to Durfee, so we don't play against them. But like they came to support us yesterday, and we support their games.
That's fun.
It's the
That's
best
nice.
thing in the world.
That's nice. Yeah, but playing against your best friend in high school is not fun. Well, it's fun for me because then I get to bust her chops, but it's not fun for her because she has to deal with me. If
Okay,
you guys
so
don't have anything else.
Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this training session and gotten as much out of this training session as others.
I'm
And I
really
think you did.
sore. My legs are killing me.
I think-
My back hurts.
Not about that. No
I
physio.
think you guys should do
Just say it
some
was so
sprints
bad.
outside in the rain.
Last night I had to ice my my back.
Okay, let's check here right here.
Hey, I'll put a hat on and go for the boys.
You did.
Game tomorrow. Cohen paid me $2 because of my 2 goals.
I can go
Game tomorrow.
Guys,
Yep, we hope there's a game tomorrow.
the rest of your season
Coach,
too.
you know what time the bus leaves from?
This bus is supposed to leave at 2:30, the same time, or we're,
Julia, let's
It's an hour and a half.
is it, wait a minute, it's up by 2 minutes. 54 minutes, an hour
Bad
away.
traffic though.
Oh, yeah, that's right, there's quite a bit of traffic. I'm not sure, I haven't heard yet, they'll announce it tomorrow.
We have to go talk to Coach Arley.
shut up.
No, you don't, for what? To get what, to get the time, to get,
Here tomorrow.
sorry?
I'm not meeting tomorrow. I got physical therapy. I might really have it. I can't.
Great.
I'm better than making that. You're on the team. Can't play the ball.
I'm supposed to be not playing for 2 months. I'm supposed
I
to be
want
not
to
playing.
have a few minutes with her.
Just take it easy. Yeah. It's just a bruise. It's not like it's not ready.
I'll play the same way I play tomorrow.
Yes, are you back down to earth yet? Doesn't seem like it.
You too, huh?
Jasmine is one of our 2 center backs. Jada is the other one. And Jasmine had revelations yesterday.
I'm fully healed, yeah. I had surgery in January.
He's really
Actually, oh yeah, it's disgusting.
You played really well.
It was a whole hour process.
It's
It was a
easy to
whole like
argue.
year process.
Well, she had nothing to argue about because you were always in position. It was good. It
We
was
remembered the
Listen.
W.
Yeah, we had that W down.
We had it. We had it.
There was one time yesterday that she started wandering. I said, Jasmine, the W.
Or how about when I was in the wrong position, I wrapped around keeper.
I literally yelled at you.
I ran right around
She
keeper.
heard it twice because I was like, oh my god, coach is
I'm gonna have to review the video. I didn't notice
It's a really
that.
big problem.
You got away with
Really
it.
big
I
problem.
ran around the keeper and I said, hold the ball and I ran around and I threw the ball.
Hers is like fouls on the field to like teammates or herself. Like she'll get nasty with her mouth.
No, I won't. I've actually
Yes.
been.
Oh
I've
my
God.
Yesterday, Jasmine goes, Julia, and you go, I'm apologizing to her.
No, because I know how
She
she literally said that.
Yes.
And she was on the ground, and I went to go help her, and I went, like, I was apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And Jasmine was yelling at me, and I was
But
like,
that's because she's like,
apologize.
that's exactly what you guys
Still on the
I think everybody
She-
in
like, yeah,
the
she-
crowd
I don't
heard that.
have-
But it's also like
I'm
she's
apologetic.
called
Worst
worse than everybody else.
I've had
so there's
worst years.
There's some situations where like
I've had worse years where I've said
like
worse stuff to
opponent
girls.
coaches
I'm
are
actually
like
being
on her
quiet.
and stuff.
You have to be
and-
too.
I'm actually being quiet.